And let's start off with his first film, Praying with Anger. You seen this, Steve?
Unfortunately, I have not, and I did not know it existed before we researched this show. So I'm going to have to put that in the haven't seen it section. Chris, how about you?
Well, Praying with Anger is what I'm doing right now after you said that, Steve, because how could you not? But no, I haven't seen it either. I mean, how about this hit film, Wide Awake?
To my dismay again, Christopher, I didn't know it existed.
Me neither. Sixth Sense. I'm sure we all seen this.
The one that really put him on the map, started it all, baby.
Yes.
In my opinion, S tier.
Yeah,
that bad boy up there.
Probably his scariest movie, spookiest, would you say?
Yeah, I can remember some moments seeing it as a preteen. I was being real scared about it. So
I remember as a kid thinking all of his movies were super scary. They were basically like the only horror-ish movies my mom would let me watch. So I'm like, this man, he is a god. Hey, wow, these are the scariest movies. And this one, I'd say, is probably the spookiest of them all.
No, I agree with that. Got a real creepy atmosphere about it.
Creepy little kid. Now, this next movie, Unbreakable, my mom would have let me watch him. And I thought it was a scary movie because I'm like, all right, M. Night. I went and I snuck. You remember those portable DVD players where it's like a 8-inch
you take on road trips?
And you could put in the DVD. I remember sneaking that DVD, that Blockbuster DVD, and I took one of those portable and I watched it in my closet and I locked the door because I'd get in trouble if I got caught. And I thought I was about to get scared out my life. And as like a 10-year-old, this was like the most boring movie I had ever seen.
Well, I guess not only as a 10-year-old, a lot of people think this movie is boring, but...
And so I hadn't seen it again, but right before Glass came out, I was like, I should probably watch this again. And I remember thinking it was pretty good, actually, watching it as an adult.
It is a bit of a slower burn, but definitely up there in some of his best work. So I don't know. It's between an A. I would put it at an A.
Yeah, we'll throw it A here. We can rearrange later.
Sure.
Now, Signs. This is a movie I watched not even a few weeks ago.
Ooh.
And this was a movie, again, as a kid, I thought was super scary. And rewatching it, I'm like, it's not a horror movie. I still enjoy it. I think it holds up, and it's probably, if not my favorite, I think it's just as good, if not better, than Sixth Sense, if you ask me.
Yeah, so put that bad boy right up there on S, because I agree with you. I'd put it above Sixth Sense.
I would too.
I'm saying it's the best one. It's just so good, man. It's unadulterated M. Night, clunky, weird, stiff dialogue and all. It's got some really fun themes that he plays with. It's fantastic. One of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. I was actually talking about this with my brother the other day, Mark. Shout out to Mark.
She's pinned in a way.
Pinned in such a way.
Oh, man, that was Sam's favorite quote. He would say that all the time. But no, my brother and I were talking, one of our favorite scenes in Signs, it's just Mel Gibson and Joaquin Phoenix talking on a couch for 6 minutes. And it's super engaging. And I'm like, if your movie can get you engaged about two dudes just talking about God on a couch, you did it, man. Because it's like, it's such good acting from Mel, but pre-racist rant Mel in his heyday.
I'm insane with anger.
Yeah. No, it's just got good moments, good themes, and it's well executed, beautifully shot.
It's probably the funniest M. Night. It's legit a funny movie.
Yeah.
Got a nice score and a lot of great cinematography, or those shots like panning out and you see the crop circles. And how about this next one, The Village?
The Village. I watched this maybe about a month ago with my in-laws. I don't think they liked it very much. They were kind of just like, okay, indifferent about it. I actually quite like this one. I think it's A category. It's in the A because it's one of his best works.
My first time seeing this movie was also on one of those DVD like portable, and I was probably like 11 or something. I didn't understand she was blind. Like I think I just like missed that part. Definitely didn't.
You thought she just loved canes.
Yeah, I thought she was just like mentally challenged or something. Like when she's like run into the wall at the end, she's without her cane. She's like,
it took you till then.
No,
to
no.
realize. No,
I still didn't know. I thought she was, hey, you guys, something like.
yeah.
And I definitely did not understand, though, like, oh, this is fake. I was so confused when the Noah's like dead in the ditch or whatever. I'm like, what? How is this? But I didn't hate it or love it as a kid. But I rewatched this last week, and it's good. I like it a lot.
It's a good one.
I'm with you there. I'd say it's an A. I think it's better than Unbreakable, and I know a lot of people don't like this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's some scenes, man. I didn't really think
feel
of
it
it as
in your
a
bones.
romance, but now when I watched it again, I'm like, this is such a romantic movie. The scene where she's holding her hand out, waiting for Joaquin, and it's got that music, and you see that red monster creeping in, and
it's got some great memorable moments. That one, and then another one that comes to mind, I remember distinctly, Lucius and What's-Her-Bucket get engaged, and then Noah comes the next day. Joaquin turns around, and you see his face, and then you see the knife being pulled out.
Oh, yeah.
That stuck with me as a kid, seeing that, and I was like, oh, brother, just, it was so like visceral, and you just felt it, and that was, something that'll stick with me always, and it's just a great movie overall, really.
That romantic scene with Joaquin talking to Bryce, and he's like, I fear for your death and blah, 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 and I will dance with you on our wedding night or something. I was like,
Get such a romance every time. It's a good movie. Dang, girl, yeah.
Yeah, I'm putting that
bad boy.
I think that's our number 3 right now for those that are just listening. Oh, actually, can I say one more thing with The Village?
Yeah.
You know how M. Night really likes to throw himself in all of his movies?
Indeed, yes, indubitably.
His thing is, he's at the end, he's like a park ranger or whatever. It's like you could very clearly see it's him, and he's like reading the paper, and like you can see, like you don't see his front of his face, but you're like, all right, obviously
you see it in the reflection.
And then they do a scene where the ranger is getting the medicine, and they like pull the reflection and just like hold it there, like, this is me. And I feel like this is starting to be the downfall of M. Night. I think he's getting a little ahead of his britches, and it all starts with these end scenes, because he's just like, all right, we get it, you're in the movie, we don't need like a whole shot just showing you to be like, hey, that's me, You know
why he does that, though? 2 reasons. Because Alfred Hitchcock does that, and so us movie nerds can lean over to our girlfriends and be like, hey, that's actually the director of the film we're watching.
Yeah. Lady in the Water, now, it's not his worst film by any means. I remember thinking it was just like kind of boring watching it as a kid. Kind of thought the same of The Village. Like, I remember thinking a little higher of it, and I rewatched The Village. I was like, that's actually really good. So I was hoping the same with Lady in the Water, and I rewatched that this week as well. And to me, it did not. It did not get
at all
better. I did not. And now, this one, he really is real. How do I say this politely? Really,
his hubris is off the charts on this one.
His cameo is he's an author that writes the most important novel in history, and
you're like, all right,
and then
come on now.
His neighbor is like a film critic, and he just like kills him off. Like, what does he know? I feel like this is where he starts to get.
That's Roger. That's Roger Ebert.
Yeah,
that's who that represents. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think it definitely overstays its welcome. Even though it's a short movie, but it's just not very good, not very memorable. There's a lot of very clunky. Something M. Night does better than most is write really weird, awkward characters.
Oh yeah,
and it's very evidently. It's very evident in this one, because you're like, can I talk to the adult who's in charge? Because everyone's so freaking weird in this one too. So I'm gonna have to put that probably a C or a D.
I'll say we'll put it C. We can adjust. Yeah, he's definitely had worse, but
yes.
Now, this is a movie I saw for the first time this week as well. The Happening. Have you seen this film?
I saw it when it first came out. I'll just say a controversial opinion, I guess. This is his worst movie.
Oh,
bar none, and I'll tell you why. Because it has 0 redeeming factors. Not a single thing is good in this one. I got nothing but negatives about it.
That lion scene or whatever with the guy in the zoo. Do you remember that?
They're watching on the phone. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty entertaining, I'd say.
It was weird. Like, I guess people killing themselves in a funny fashion. You're like, is this supposed to be funny, M. Night? It was just like,
yeah. It starts off, I'm like, this isn't terrible. Like, I had always heard this was his worst movie, and I'm like, this isn't terrible. Like, I've seen worse. It never picks up.
it never crawls out of that hole.
Yeah.
But ever.
I will say, I don't think this is his worst. I think there's one worse, but... Yeah.
All right. So I guess we'll put it as F for now.
Now, this one, Last Airbender.
I think everyone would be like, oh, this is definitely the worst one he's ever done. And for good reason, because it does really just poop and pee all over the source material. And it's not a fun watch by any means, but I'll tell you why it's slightly better than The Happening, in my opinion. Just because some of the effects, like the visual effects, they're not that bad. I feel for those visual effects artists. They put something on screen where you're like, hey, that doesn't look half bad at all. So visually, it's there. I feel like they did the best with what they had. Again, I'll say The Happening doesn't have a single redeeming quality about it. This one, at least some of the visuals are nice. But I can understand why people are like, this one is poopy, not a fun time. Like, they pronounced the main character's name wrong. And I could see why that would upset some people.
It's like The Mummy 3, it's Indiana Jones 4 and 5. It's just like, what do you mean they never made a movie? Now stop talking, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like one of those.
It's definitely in the F territory.
Yeah.
For surezies. Next one, After Earth, or as Will Smith would say, welcome to After Earth. Yeah, this one's terrible.
I never seen this, and I wasn't about to. No offense.
Listen, we've talked a few times about nepotism in Hollywood, and this instance right here is what people point to as the most egregious form of nepotism. We let it slide with The Pursuit of Happiness because Jaden was a cute kid, but that has to stop right there and put my foot down. Jaden, bless his soul, I'm sure he's a good kid, but it was distracting of just how poor of an actor he was. You could argue that M. Night's characters, because they're so weird, he does a good job because that's how his character was written. But I maintain it's just not enjoyable to watch either way because it's really hard to root for the main character to survive and not get eaten by a giant eagle. So there's that.
Oh, well, where are you putting this, Steve? Because I got no skin in the game here.
It's definitely in the F category.
They're right in the middle. So sandwich between Airbender and The Happening.
And The Happening, yeah.
All right, The Visit.
I remember not hating this one. I remember hating the little boy, the annoying little boy.
Same.
But I thought this one was pretty cool. It was right in the peak of like that found footage era. Yeah. So M. Night dipped his toes into that, which I'm not a huge fan of. I hate that kind of filmmaking. Do you like this movie at all?
I like this movie. Like, I'd probably put it in a B. Like, I wouldn't say it's on the same level as The Village or Unbreakable, but it's definitely one of his better movies.
Sure, I'd put that a B. It's watchable.
And then we got Split.
This was the one everyone said, he's back, baby.
Yes.
Move over, Arnold, because M. Night is back, let me tell you. And I agree with him. This one, it felt like classic M. Night. When I first saw this in a theater, I was like, that was a good watch. So I'd put that either A or B. Definitely.
I'd put it A. I think,
okay,
if you ask me, I think this one is better than Unbreakable. I think it's like easier to watch, more entertaining.
Correct.
You agree with me there?
I agree with you. Yeah.
Okay.
There's more fun moments in there. When I think of Unbreakable, I just think of a blue sepia tone like filter on Bruce Willis's sad face.
Yep.
When I think of Split, I think of like James McAvoy having a blast. So it's a much more fun watch than that one. So that feels right.
I remember watching Split thinking it was real good. You got your twist and you find out it's in the same universe as Unbreakable. I was so excited for Glass because I had rewatched them both. That was one of the most anticipated films for me. I was like, this is going to be amazing. And I remember sitting in theaters, getting my popcorn ready, even though I didn't bring popcorn, I'm too cheap. But, taking my Dollar Tree Kit Kats or whatever. But I was very disappointed. Like, I can't remember a time where I had higher expectations just not even close.
Yeah, this one tripped hard. Like the first like 15, 20 minutes are actually like pretty good. Like I was digging it. And then once they get into that dang hospital, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
It's boring, it's stupid, everyone's a moron. It's bad, man. It's not F level bad, but I would put it snugly in the D tier. You had build up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it just fell flat. That's why it was very disappointing, like you said.
Maybe it's because I recently watched Lady in the Water, but I think it's still better than that, if you ask me.
Yeah, we can. Well, would you put it C tier or B then?
I'd put it C above Lady in the Water. Unless,
you know what? That's fair because it does have Samuel L. Jackson and James in there.
Yeah.
And there's some fun scenes with James McAvoy.
Like you said, like the beginning, it, like you said, starts off fun. You got them fighting, and they do fight again. 30 minutes of the movie are pretty good, which is more than I could say about Lady in the Water.
And then it gets really silly really quick.
Oh, yeah. All right, next we got Old.
This is, I feel like, on par with The Visit because it had a really interesting premise. Shyamalan, he swings for the fences. This one hits on a few, but I feel like it gets bogged down with like over exposition because like when you're watching it, you're like, well, wait, how come? Okay, well, I guess, oh, well, how come? You know, you ask yourselves in the middle of the movie and it takes you out of it just a little bit. It's still a fun watch. Like I'd put it a B tier under The Visit.
All right. That's about, I'd agree with you there. Knock at the Cabin.
His most recent one, it's honestly kind of forgettable. Dave Bautista's really fun in it. He gets to spring off his acting chops, but it's just kind of like there, you know?
Yeah, I agree with you there.
So I would probably put it as a B right after Old.
Yeah, I'll agree with you.
Well, with that being said, would you want to do a prediction of where Trap is going to fall in here?
Ooh, I'm going to guess
track
B.
record, probably B, yeah. Hopefully he comes back. I mean, he's not a bad director, but hopefully he can make a good movie again. I didn't say it like that, but
yeah,
I'd say
it looks pretty entertaining. I'm sure it's going to be like, it also looks pretty silly, and you can hear his dialogue because, you know,
it's clunky and awkward.
M. Night.
Well, let us know in the comments what you guys think. Put your rankings below if you agreed with us, if you didn't. And yeah. Thanks for watching these highlights from our episode of the Stale Popcorn Podcast. If you want to listen to the full episode, click on the link in the description. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you do that with your favorite YouTuber, I'm sure they would appreciate it too. Thanks, and have a great day.
Popcorn!